Hey everyone, I'm Michael DiTullo. Welcome to my studio. Today we're going to talk about sport slides. So I don't know about you, but I've been pretty much living in sport slides lately. Sport slides are basically like a shower slipper, a simple sandal with one strap that's usually super comfortable. And I've been at home for about the last 5 months, like hopefully all of you have been too. And so I haven't been wearing very many shoes lately, but I have been wearing a ton of sport slides. Over the last 20 years, I've actually had opportunity to design a bunch of sport slides for Nike, Converse, as well as Jordan. So I thought it'd be fun to walk through some of those designs that I've worked on, as well as sketch up a new one. Something I'd want to wear every day in the house casually as basically a summer slipper. But let's jump into some of my favorites. This first one is from 2004, and it was called the Slat by Nike, and it was probably the most innovative one I've worked on. I worked on this in conjunction with Pam Green down in the Innovation Kitchen. What we developed was a glass-filled nylon part that as you stepped on it, it would expand a little bit and then bounce back. So it felt like basically kind of stepping on a trampoline. It was surrounded by this kind of donut of injection EVA. So it was a really simple construction with this EVA donut, a glass-filled nylon part, and then the footbed was a nice kind of TPR part that helped the slats from spreading too much. And then the upper, which was made from Mitobuck with a welded piece of TPU that prevented the Mitobuck from stretching too much so you wouldn't fall out of the shoe. It was almost like a finger holding down on your foot. Super simple design, ended up winning Runner's World Recovery Product of the Year that it came out, which was super cool. The second one I worked on was also from 2004, also a collaboration with the Innovation Kitchen. And this was a whole series of products that was around beach sports. So the running team worked on two shoes led by Sergio Lozano, who is famous for designing the Air Max 95, and Jean Lavix. And then I worked from the sportswear side, working on a simple slide. The cool part about this series was all the shoes had this really innovative traction pattern that was partially inspired by sand and mud tires, partially inspired by like the bottom of a horseshoe crab or something like that. So you basically ended up with this cup that basically cupped the sand so you wouldn't sink in, and then these really long fins that provided you a little bit of extra traction. And you'll notice in the front the fins go backwards, and in the back the fins go forward, and that is just to create a little bit more stability. You're basically kind of compressing the sand in and creating a little bit more of a solid to step on. The upper, super simple, just one dynamic kind of stretch part and one non-stretch part that held you down. And then the top of the footbed, you'll notice all kind of slopes away. And the notion there was to evacuate water and sand so you didn't get much buildup under the foot like you do with a lot of traditional sandals that have detail there. This third slide I worked on was the Jordan Hydro 2. So this was right after I left sportswear and moved over to Jordan. And the goal here was to create a slightly more premium feel. This also had a TPR footbed, but much squishier, much softer. Another TPU welded element here, but a little more decorative. And then adding Mitobuck, kind of wrapping the whole midsole with some deco stitching, just to kind of elevate it, make it feel a little bit more premium. We really wanted to kind of fit in with the Jordan DNA of the time. And then the last slide I'm going to show you today actually never made it to production. So this was for Converse. We worked on a small capsule collection at Converse called Code that was all kind of lifestyle footwear, somewhat inspired by the NBA dress code of the time. So I wanted to pull in some of the DNA from Converse products of the time. So you'll notice this simple kind of linear element along the side with a stripe, obviously coming from the Chuck Taylor. Again, very simple footbed, and then the old school Converse logo. This is from like the 1900s basically. One thing I really liked about this shoe was just the bottom. So it had all these dots. So the whole bottom is basically like a single giant color dam. And I've just always wanted to do this on a product. It never made it to production, but basically made this Morse code / herringbone traction pattern on the bottom, which I thought was nice. The upper itself is really simple canvas with some leather trims. So now that we've looked at some of the products I've worked on in the past, let's jump in to see what I would do now. I'd really love something that was just bold and simple, not a lot of detail, and very comfortable to wear around the house. Something that has the comfort of a slipper but could pass for something that I could wear outside of the house. Let's jump into a time lapse and see how it works out. All right, everybody, thanks for joining. This was a really fun video to put together. I love kind of diving into my archive of old products, as well as looking at what I would do in this category now. If you got any questions or comments on anything that you saw in this video, leave them down below. Also, leave me some suggestions for what you'd love to see for future topics. I love getting suggestions from all of you. Like and subscribe if you want to see more videos like this. And hey, share it with a friend. Maybe you got a friend who'd love to check it out. All right, that's it. Until next time, keep designing.